Hello and welcome. Great you could join me today. Just checking everything works okay. Hope you can hear me. I guess it's always one of the interesting things about if it works. So I just had a session at Teched CM 104. About what was going on with SAP integration and how you could actually use the plugins that we created to simplify. Hey Niall, great to see you. and thanks for the tweet. So I wanted to give a little more insight about some of the things that we covered in the session, where we will not being able to show anything, just talk about the business requirements and why we actually made these things. And I think that's obviously the cool part about this, having information about what's happening and how it works. So let me just check the audio here. And then obviously if there's questions, stuff like that, then please just check it. Ask them. That's what we're here for, and hopefully this all works out good. So what I wanted to give was a little more insight about what we've done, why we've created these plugins, and how they work, and how they can help you in your day-to-day life as a SAP CPI or API management developer. So if we just go here, so I created the blog post, and I think this is a good place to start. Search for SAP CM 104. And here we cover a little about why we created the Gradle plugin. And I think this is also what was covered in... Hello, Johan. Thanks for joining in the session with our interview there. Basically it is to simplify the step between going from editing GroovyScript to editing BPMN flows and have a better flow in that process. We've created two different versions of these. There's one for CPI, where you can do iflows and value mappings. And the idea is also you can take these and put it into a Git repository, or the main part is to put it into Git repository. That means you will be able to have all the versioning controls from that platform as a way to handle your processing there. Hey, Jessica, thanks for joining. And then on the other part, we also have CPI API management, where we have proxies, and I think in the short term, or in the next next week or something like that, hopefully, we will also have the ability to do key value maps, because I think that is also one of the things you want to be a little more... Well, some of these key value map is you want to be able to flexible edit and manage, and that is what these things is about. And it seems like you all get the notification that I'm live, but I'm not even getting myself, which is good. Okay. So we had this. We can talk about how to install it. I'd say that the easiest approach is, or obviously you can create the Git repository yourself, but the easiest approach is to use the post I added here. So there is a blog post about how you can actually use the Figaf tool to create this Git repository and then being able to debug. So this is like a 20 minutes video, and this will take you to install the Figaf tool on your local laptop, connecting to a CPI system, synchronize it, create a Git repository that will then be fully populated, and then create test cases with the Figaf tool, so you can actually try and run some of these Groovy scripts. And then with those Groovy scripts, you can then start to developing everything like that. I think this is definitely... So there's a free trial that you can use to sign it up. and this will simplify setting up all of these different things instead of you having to figure out how to create the Git repository. But again, it is not difficult to set up this Git repository, fill in the templates, and if we just have a look, so here we have the Git repository. This is what has been automatically populated. You will need to create a GUI build.gradle, which contains all the information about what kind of plugins we need, how to set them up, and there is configurations and instructions in the Git repository about how you can fill in this Git repository. This session is obviously, if you have questions, comments, feedbacks, stuff like that, just put them into the chat, and then I will cover those things. So if you have questions, just write, and let's cover those things also. So yeah, this contains all the information you need to set up the thing, and then it also, you can create custom tasks if you want something more than just is delivered the standard. And the thing is, then for each project, this will then give us this run full project, and I think it's on the other. So we have run full and run test suite. So all of these things is just a task that you create, and then they are enacted on the different projects that you have as a part of this. We also have a settings file, and this settings file just include the location of the project, and also where the data is residing and what's the name of the project. So it's a way, and once you've done that, it will then pop in the structure where you have packages, and under the packages you have the different iFlows, and under those you have the different tasks related to these things. So you can either deploy at the package level, or you can run it on the iFlow level. And normally for these things you would run it on iFlow level, because that's where most information is, and you have the better capabilities. But so the idea is that that you hear from our iFlow. So if we make a change to the iFlow, and we have, so we can see we need to select the right iFlow firstly. So we'll take the demo 2 iFlow here. We will make a change in here. I have no clue what this will do, if that will break anything or if it will be okay. But the thing we can see in here is we also have the BPMN model for this specific iFlow. So everything that we do is around this fly flow and how it works. And obviously we could make changes into this, but it can sometimes be, how would you say, a little difficult editing this XML code and knowing what that would mean for the users to do these things. So the main part is here that you get this plugin here. You can then upload it, and then this will take all of the changes that we have uploaded to the CPI system. And we can see it takes a couple of seconds to do it. We can also deploy it, and we could also create our custom task to upload and deploy if we wanted to do that. And there's options to specify that it should take. So now it's deploying as a draft, or uploading as draft, but we could also add that it should upload as a new version. And that means if we go back to the CPI system, find the iFlow that we're wanting to deal with, we can see it's now in draft mode. Yeah, CPU is working here. And then if we look at the resources, we can then see that all the resources that we have here is a part of it. So if we look at the demo 2 script, we can see that the header has been updated as we wanted it to be in our from our repository. And that means it simplifies the process and make it easier for you to develop. And the thing is that if you follow the guide, it will also show you how to actually create all of these sample running or sample ways to run your iFlow, so you don't need to figure out how do I actually set it up, set my Groovy scripts up to be able to run and be able to see how it works. And I think that I, as integration developers, not that familiar with setting up all of these mock services in a simplified way, and that was one of the things we wanted to take out of it. So developers should not need huge Groovy Java experience to be able to create mappings. Obviously, if they know and can do it, it's fine. But for the 90% of other 50% other CPI developers, this just comes out of the box, make it a lot easier for you as a developer to set up and run. But the idea is that, for instance, if we have a headers 2 here, we can select the headers 2, we can set a breakpoint. And that means if we go back to our unit test here, we can obviously run it and then see how this running affects and if we have any differences in it. And so the way we're testing and the way we're testing in the Figaf tool is to look at input message and then see if that corresponds to the output message. And that's the same that we're doing when we're running these tests, that we'll look at the payload and see if they match and everything is running correctly. And we can see we're getting some errors, that there was a new value in that we did not expect, or it was a changed value. So we can see it's everything okay. And obviously this just takes in and output messages, but there's also examples in our help about how you can actually create assertions that you can say, okay, take this input message, process it, and then I would expect that in this specific field I can find this value or whatever. So there's ways that you can improve the process about figuring out what data is delivered during this process. And then obviously if you want to debug it, which is really nice if you're doing message mapping and figure out what data we actually have at a given point in time, then this is the place to go. Hopefully this will work. I guess that's always the fun thing about doing live things, that sometimes you just get to synchronize things and they do not work. And we can see here that what are the properties we have at the specific point in time. We can see the message, we can see all the different entities that we have as a part of this, and thereby figure out what should we be changing for this to work. So we can just resume program, and then I guess it will pop up with the next iteration of this. Stop it. Any questions, comments, feedback, please put them into the chat. Would love to get your idea on some of these things and what could be done differently, or where to, what any features that are missing as a part of this. Cool. Thanks for watching. It's been great seeing you guys here. And then next week I'm also hosting a couple of sessions on how you can actually improve the delivery process about SAP integration, both PI and CPI, because there's definitely a lot of ways that you can go around making these processes a little simpler. So if there's no more questions, comments, then I will end the stream. But obviously, just ping me on the platform you're watching it. I hope you do give it a like. I will always appreciate that. So thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of SAP Teched.